Okay, on to editing now. Editing is what we're here for. We want to edit our content. Everything we've done so far has just been building up to this point so we can actually start putting all of the footage together. So first thing we've got to do is create a project. Now choose the hard drive that you want to work on. This is important because that project is now going to be contained on that hard drive. Now I strongly suggest keeping your project and media on the same drive. That's how I work. It saves you a lot of trouble. Otherwise you're going to need to have two hard drives connected up at any time to actually make it all work. So again, I'll repeat that. Keep your project and media on the same drive at all times. So to create a new project, choose the plus key and you'll have the option set based on first clip or set as custom. If you choose to go custom, you're going to define what the project is, meaning in terms of whether it's a 1080 project or whether it's 720. They're different high definition standards. Whether you're using PAL standard definition or whether you're working with NTSC standard definition. You can also choose the frame rate. You also have choices on the actual size of the footage that you're working with. The easy way is just to choose set based on first clip. Now what this means is when you drop your first clip into the timeline, it will set the codec and the format and the frame rate according to that first clip. Now that's the easy way to do it, but let me just make the point that if you do choose that method, you need to know that the first clip that you edit into the timeline is actually the format that you want to output. So if you want to edit 1080, well, drop the clip into the timeline. If you're working with a 1080 clip, that's the format that will be set. But if you drop a 720 clip into the timeline and you really want to work 1080, then you need to do it manually. Okay, I'm choosing set based on first clip. Give the project a name, editing demo. Okay, say okay. And I now have a timeline to work with. So you've got all the footage to work with. Let's go back to our Bahamas footage and I'll just skim through it and I'll have a good look at the shots that are there. Okay, so I've got all my nice shots to work with and I can see the shots of the parrots, the tortoise, the lizard and the beach. So that's the footage I've got to work with for now. What you need to do with your footage is you can either take the entire clip and put it into the timeline, or you can define a range. Now you may remember that we defined ranges on import when we brought content in from tape or when we brought content in from actual camera media. Okay, so if I go through, let's find one of these nice shots of a parrot, and you can see that in the middle of the shot there's a crash zoom. So just after the crash zoom I hit I and I can press spacebar to play or L to scrub forward. Press it more than once and that will scrub forward at high speed. J to go backwards, spacebar to play. Always remember those three things as you can quickly navigate through your footage. J to go backwards, L to go forwards. Again, press it in increments to speed up, or press the spacebar to play and the spacebar to stop. Okay, so I've marked the in and out on that clip. And now that I've done that, I can pick that up, I can drop it straight into the timeline. Okay, so that's the first clip in the timeline. Again, let's find another shot of a parrot. Nice close-up. Okay, I for in, press play, and O for out. Okay, so if I just drag that into the timeline, I've now got two shots cut together. If I pick a third shot, let's pick the one of the lizard. And once it's not bouncing all over the place, okay, I for in, spacebar to play, and O for out. And again, pick that up and drag it into the timeline. And there we have it. Three shots cut together. Now notice this little slider down the bottom. You can actually increase the size of what you're seeing or decrease. Okay, and a shortcut is actual Shift plus Z or Shift plus Z, depending on which part of the world you're in. And that will take the shots in the timeline and fit it into the existing space. So Shift plus Z to achieve that. And you'll see I can skim through the entire timeline, and likewise I can skim through the clips. Okay, so that's pretty basic, just getting some shots into the timeline. You don't have to drag the shots into the timeline. If you choose another shot, this one of the tortoise or turtle, I for in, press play, and O for out. Now, if I press the letter E, The E is for append edit, or think end. If I press E, that will put that shot onto the end. Choose another shot. This time I'm not going to mark an in and an out point, or a range as we call it these days. I'm just going to mark the whole clip. Press E and it's straight on the back of the timeline. Again, another shot, I for in, O for out, E. As many shots as you want, you can just edit them onto the back of the timeline just by pressing the letter E. Either mark the in and the out, or just mark the clip. Press the letter E and it's edited onto the back of the timeline. So that is an append edit. Now that's all well and good, an append edit, if you want to put the clip on the end of the timeline. But what if you don't? You want to put the clip in the middle of a shot. Okay, park your scrubber bar right in the middle. Okay, I just skim to where I want to be and then I press click and the scrubber bar is actually marked there, or the playhead as some people call it. Okay, if I was to mark a shot of the lizard, press I for in. Actually, I won't use the lizard, I'll use a parrot so it stands out against the lizard in the timeline. Okay, so mark this parrot, I for in, O for out. Now, if I was to press the letter D, D is actually for overwrite. Watch what happens. D, and it writes over that section of the timeline. Now that's a very short clip that I just did, so let's make it a whole lot longer. That will take most of the clip. D, and you can see it's written over that portion of the timeline. Command Z to undo. If you want to do the opposite to override edit, which like I said writes over that portion of the timeline, press W, and W will insert the shot, which effectively makes the timeline longer. Now watch what happens if I do it slowly. That's where I'm coming in. W, it pushes the content to the right further along. So that's basically an insert edit, and the other one was an override edit. Insert pushes everything further along in the timeline. Overwrite writes over that portion of the timeline. Okay, if I just lose those two clips on the end, and just to make the timeline a bit smaller, and park myself there, let's choose this shot here. Looks like a cockatoo. Okay, I for in, O for out, press D, and you can see it writes over that portion of the timeline. Command Z to undo. If I press W, it pushes everything up. Okay, I hope that's clear. Two forms of editing. Overwrite does not make the timeline longer. The entire timeline stays the same duration. Insert does make the timeline longer by pushing everything further along. Okay, so we talked about 3 edits so far. We talked about the append edit, which edits direct onto the end of the timeline. The override edit, which is D, which will basically write over a portion of the timeline. And the insert edit, which is W, which will basically edit into the timeline and push everything else further along, therefore increasing the duration of the timeline. Now there's one more type of edit that I want to talk about, and this is called a connect edit. So if I just choose a clip, highlight it, press the letter Q, Q is the shortcut for connect, Q, and this will actually put the clip on top of the ones that exist below it. So that's a connect edit. So we've gone through the 4 types of edits. We've got E for append, we've got D for overwrite, we've got W for insert, and we've got Q for connect. And like I said, any connect edit will just basically put the edit a layer up from the main edit, which is in what we call the primary storyline. And you can see I've now got a connect edit on top of another connected clip. Now anything that exists in this area here, which is basically defined by a dark grey strip, that's called the primary storyline. The primary storyline is basically where you do your main edit. That's the main edit that takes place. Everything from the primary storyline up is secondary to the edit. But the fact is your main edit takes place in the primary storyline, and then all the bits you add, be it audio, be it video, can be added on top or below. Or you can choose to edit direct into the primary storyline. The choice is yours. It's important how you actually display your clips in the timeline. Now essentially, all your edit is a bunch of clips edited together in the timeline. Some of these clips will have audio and video, some will have audio only, and some will have video only. We still need to discuss how you actually define what gets edited into the timeline. But before we do that, just have a look at this control down here. You've got different ways of affecting the appearance of clips in the timeline. You can show audio only. As you can see, we've got waveforms here, and all the clips are displaying the audio only. We can still see the image, but effectively what we're actually seeing in the timeline is the actual audio only. If I click the next one along, we can see the video and the audio, video being displayed as a lot of little thumbnails, audio being displayed as waveforms here, and again we can see audio and video with the thumbnails being slightly larger. If I click the fourth one along, we can see the thumbnails is quite large and the audio is much smaller, and we can see thumbnails only. So you can see the thumbnails or icons, or you can see audio only, and then the thumbnails and the audio waveforms in different sizes. And if you choose this one on the very end, then what you actually get to see is all the clips without audio or video being defined. So they're just represented as blocks. Now sometimes when you want to see everything in the timeline and not be confused about audio and video, and just see it, basically if you've got a complex timeline and you just want to see it all in front of you, using that option which is the sixths along to show blocks can be very useful. So just choose whichever one is most appropriate for what you want to do while you're editing. But for myself, I use them all. And like I said, the blocks one at the end is a very simple way to get an overview of what's there. Okay, so if I just go back to represent audio and video in the clip, what you can see is whenever you're editing in Final Cut Pro 10, audio and video are basically stuck together. I've got audio here represented by waveforms, and then I've got the shot represented by the icons itself. So we know that we've got audio and video to work with. If you want to separate audio and video, which is a pretty fundamental thing in the whole editing process, this can be easily done. And it can be done in one of two ways. You can either do it after you've got the content in the timeline, or you can do it while you're editing the content into the timeline. Okay, let's start with editing content into the timeline and defining whether we get video, whether we get audio only, or whether we get video and audio together. Now, as I talked about earlier, when you choose your edits, you can actually do it by using the letters D for overwrite, E for append, or W for insert, or Q for connect. There's other ways to do it. If you actually hover over these, you can see these commands. You can do a connect edit by pressing that button, you can do an insert edit, or you can do an append edit. So you've got other ways to actually access those. But most importantly, to the right, you can actually define whether you're editing video or audio or all, which is both. So if I want to edit video only, and meaning do not edit audio, choose video. If I want to edit audio only, it's audio only, or if I want to edit both, it's all. Now you can also see we've got shortcuts to get there. If I was to press Shift 1, that would be for all, Shift 2 is for video only, and Shift 3 is for audio only. And you can see as I quickly cycle through these, Shift 1, Shift 2, Shift 3, that we actually get areas that light up to indicate whether we're editing audio, whether we're editing video, or whether we're editing both. So it's very simple. Shift 1 for audio and video, Shift 2 for video only, Shift 3 for audio only, or you can choose the drop-down menu and then just choose the one you want. Okay, so to put that into practice, let's actually do an edit and actually show you what it means to edit video only. So select video only, select the clip, and then press D for overwrite. And basically, you can see that I've edited video into the timeline without audio. There's no audio waveforms in there. If I press W, it pushes everything up, but again, there's no audio edited into the timeline. If I choose audio only, click the drop down or press Shift +3, audio only, and press D. Now there's no video that's been edited into the timeline, and audio only. Command Z to undo, and I'll do an insert edit. Again, we get only the audio and none of the video. And if I actually go to the clip, you'll see that there's black there to say that there's actually no video associated with it. Command Z to undo. Okay, now I'll press the command to actually say all, which means video and audio, and it's Shift 1. So Shift 1 or select the command, and press D to edit in, and you can see I get audio and video combined. So it's pretty straightforward and pretty simple. You can choose to edit audio only, you can choose to edit video only, or you can choose to edit video and audio simply by choosing the appropriate command.